Hi there, YouTube! My name is Vivian, and today we're going to go through my old high school sketchbooks from my senior years. So these are the years from grade 11 through grade 12. This pink sketchbook in the middle here, you can see actually most of its content from my Sheridan portfolio, so I'm going to put that away. But yeah, my grade 11 and grade 12 years have a lot of intense growth. I would say that grade 11, you can actually physically see me fighting my anime style. Now, this was when we actually switched teachers, so my art class basically had the same teacher for the first 2 years of grade 9 and grade 10, and so when grade 11 came around, the teacher that was here before came back from her break, and so I would get new comments from her. And a comment that before kind of would bother me is that this looks like anime, don't draw this. And so me thinking that I spent a lot of time through grade 10 trying not to draw anime, I remember showing to the class and her this storyboard that is inspired by a lot of animation stuff that I saw on YouTube. And the first comment that came from her mouth was about anime. And I wasn't even trying to copy anything anime related. I think it's just the fact that there was a dragon and that it was Asian. But yeah, so we had a new teacher in grade 11, and the first thing she said about my art from her mouth had the word anime in it. And I remember I went home and I cried. And that was because I was so angry that the year that I spent trying not to draw anime wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't good enough when those words "don't draw anime" came back to me in grade 11, when I thought I had conquered the entire issue involving it. And I don't even know why I started thinking that it was an issue. Yes, I started thinking that my style or that my love for anime was an issue. And then I remember grade 11, this teacher was actually, her attendance was kind of unstable because she had some other things going on. And so once this teacher actually kind of left and we had a supply, I was like, I'm going to draw anime. I don't care anymore. And once I did that for myself, I don't know how to explain how much growth I went through. Because now, yes, from my lessons before, I did understand now how valuable it is to go outside of your comfort zone and to explore other mediums. But to do that at the cost of telling yourself that what you love to do is forbidden is not something that's healthy, and is not something that any artist should do to themselves. If drawing anime or drawing in an Asian style was who I was, then I wasn't gonna repress it anymore, and I was gonna explore that while exploring other things. I was gonna explore myself while exploring other types of art, instead of trying to tell myself that I wasn't good enough and that I need to fit into this box. Because the more I tried to fit into a box was the more I saw my progress stagnate. And that was when I realized that if I was going to grow as an artist, then I was going to nourish my true self and not some, box or robot that other people want me to be, regardless of whether or not it is quote unquote accepted in the world. Because if it's not accepted in the world, then you know what? I'm going to be the one to make it accepted. I'm going to be the one to show people that this style can be beautiful. And so you can see in this sketchbook, I actually have a few pages where I'm like, F it, and I just draw straight out anime. And looking back at where I was in my mind, I'm really, really proud of myself. And I'm not sure how to describe how special the sketchbook is to me, because the supply that came in, he actually ended up staying for the entire semester. And he knows who he is if he's watching this video. Because he made me realize that even if I am an anime drawer, if I'm an anime artist, then I still deserve unconditional support. Because before, I didn't know that. Before, I thought, since I draw anime, I don't deserve support. And that's something really, really silly to tell yourself. And that's something really, really terrible that the world currently teaches people. And I want to tell anybody who currently draws anime out there that it's great that you love that. And don't just draw anime though, make it your own, right? Explore yourself and explore other things. And this love for anime will soon be the reason why you are thriving. Don't try to fit it into a box and ship it away, because that's never going to work. If you're going to keep trying to do that, then you're basically just delaying your progress. Embrace who you are. And basically, this conclusion I'm telling you now took me a few years to get to. Right now I'm talking and I seem pretty clear about, the whole thing. But grade 11 basically was when I first started touching on that idea, when I first started realizing these little things in my mindset and how the world or how others programmed me to hate myself. And hating yourself is not something you want to do. And so I started, conquering each barrier little by little in grade 11, and these pages represent that. And this is why the sketchbook means so much to me. I also remember, if you can see, I don't know, there's a few drawings of this math class that I used to draw in because, back then I was a Kumon kid, so I could sleep in math class. And I remember I would bring my sketchbook to math class, and some of my fellow students and my math teacher, I remember this day so vividly that they talked about my sketchbook in front of me, and I think they did it intentionally because they knew that I was insecure, and they were talking to each other and saying how amazing I am at drawing and that I was going to do big things. And I'm kind of tearing up because I'm not sure if these two people know how much what they did meant to me. But yeah, this sketchbook, grade 11 was the year I started awakening to the fact that I hated myself, And so now that I started realizing those things, I was able to start to use my discernment, and I was able to choose what advice I was going to accept and what advice I was going to reject. And this is what also dictated how I drew my pages in grade 12. Because at the time, I'm going to tell you, I had no idea I was allowed to say no to advice. I had no idea. I'm not sure how the world programmed me to work like this, but I thought when people told me advice or gave me feedback that I had to accept it and that I had to quote unquote improve. But the perspective of whether or not their advice is even helpful to you or how you see yourself improving, then there's no point following everyone's advice because you're gonna just keep going around in circles and not making any progress. So yeah, grade 12 was kind of the year that I started to kind of not hate myself and also, start exploring and preparing myself for my Sheridan portfolio and to get into Sheridan. And so you can see a lot of, Disney and animation stuff in here because I was preparing myself to get into Sheridan. Thing is, I was kind of listening to teachers that, Sheridan was the way to go, but I myself at the time, I was lying to myself that I didn't want to go there or that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so, the first thing available to you to pretend that you know what to do, of course, a lot of people usually choose that, right? So I was pretending to myself for grade 12 that I was going to Sheridan, and then at the same time trying to conquer that whole anime thing. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to show my old teacher that I'm going to get into Sheridan drawing in an Asian style. And obviously you can see how that went, right? If you look at my Sheridan portfolio and compare it to a lot of the 100% portfolios or 90% portfolios, the main difference, I'm going to be honest, that I can tell you is that they draw in a more Western inspired style. And when I thought I started recovering from artist block or feeling that I wasn't good enough, when I was rejected from Sheridan, that was when I had to deal with all of the stuff I was pretending. So when I got rejected, I actually stopped drawing. I actually couldn't draw anymore. I struggled to draw. And then I stopped drawing for, I think it was 8 months. And it was because I felt like if I didn't get into Sheridan, then I had no reason to draw. And obviously I was reflecting on that perspective, because why is that? Why am I drawing for other people? Right? And so Sheridan, getting rejected from Sheridan was a very low point in my life. I can tell you it's probably that phase was probably one of the lowest points in my life, because I felt like the one thing I thought I was meant to do, that I wasn't supposed to do that. So, what am I supposed to do now? But getting rejected from Sheridan was a gift. I'm not sure how to tell you all that there was a reason I was rejected from Sheridan, and that was to help me realize that I didn't need anybody to draw for myself. And recovering from that 8 months, I had so much time to reflect on all the things that I was pretending to myself, because actually, I'm going to tell you a secret. Getting rejected from Sheridan actually happened on top of my twin flame separation. So if you guys don't know what that is, I had a spiritual awakening, or I started my whole figuring out all of the world's lies and how much I lied to myself, or how much I pretended to be someone else because of the world, fulfilling other people's expectations, and trying to tell yourself that you're this and you're that because you want to appeal to other people. And so I was going through that both romantically and, mentally, while at the same time having my career go through this whole relapse too. So I was going through this entire rebirth of who I was. And now, obviously you can see where I am. My personality actually changed a lot. I'm still the person I am now, but I'm less insecure, and that's because I conquered all the lies that the world told me. It's because now, getting rejected from Sheridan, or not having support from teachers in high school, all of that taught me I wasn't following who I really was. And now I know who I am. And I'm so grateful for all the things I went through. And so, now I applied for OCAD because I realized that it's actually a blessing I didn't go to Sheridan, because I can bring so much more to the table than just drawing. I have so many other talents that would be wasted if I went to Sheridan. And so, OCAD, or choosing that advertising program, was one of the first steps in my entire life that I was choosing myself fully, because I actually knew who I was. I grew a lot, both as an artist and as a person, through grade 12. And basically, what I learned was that if the world doesn't accept your true self, then they're just a bunch of assholes. You're not the problem. Be who you are. Don't let society trick you that you want to be somebody else. Because if they're not the one accepting you, then you're not the problem, they're the problem. And sometimes that's hard to remember. But once you realize the truth of that, that's when you can finally start being who you are and chasing your happiness fully. Oh yeah, and also a fun fact about this sketchbook cover is actually inspired by a dream that was sent to me by angels during my twin flame separation, or the heavy part of the separation. And so a lot of the elements in here symbolically represent a lot of the things that I was going through. And so, I'm super proud of the sketchbook cover. I think it's really, really pretty. And don't worry guys, I will definitely get into the whole spiritual twin flame juice in maybe another video. But I learned a lot from grade 12. And even if my world crumbled when Sheridan rejected me, I still got back up, and I'm doing better than ever today. And I really hope I give strength to anybody who is going through anything similar. And so that concludes my whole senior high school sketchbook tour. That was a lot, but lots of love, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Okay, thank you, bye!